Can you start taking pictures of people?
I'm not taking her no. I'm recording.
She over here taking pictures, man. Take a picture of your damn self. Turn it up. Taking shit. Stop. Oh, she made a picture of you.
Shamali.
Get your fucking. Stop taking. Shut the fuck up. Y'all talk too fucking much. I record that. I record it. You trying to get some stuff